as a general rule of thumb, disclosure is based on the person's independent right to decide when and if they want to talk about their disability, and no one gets to place disability onto another person, especially not in a public format.
Hi, my name is Catherine Hubert. This is my business, Chez Jeunesse, where I am the restaurant owner, chef, and disability integration coach. More on all of that later.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am excited that you are here today. I'm also a little bit nervous because the topic for today I think could or has the potential to bring out the internet trolls. I'm not here to respond to the haters. So if you have productive, kind, thoughtful, engaging questions, please leave those in the comments and I would be happy to respond. If you're here to just hate on me, I will not be responding, just as a heads up. Also, as a heads up, this is not a political video. I'm not here to talk about politics today. I'm not here to talk about my political stance on things. I'm here simply to point out a couple of observations and things that we can learn from this past week and President Trump commenting 3 different times that Kamala Harris was either mentally impaired or mentally disabled. So we're going to have a couple of takeaways from that, a couple of things that we can learn just as general statements and commentary about disability and how it's talked about in our culture, and then also one primary bias that we're going to see present, and that will be it for today. So in case you haven't seen that news clipping, we're going to go ahead and insert that here.
Kamala is mentally impaired. If a Republican did what she did, that Republican would be impeached and removed from office, and rightfully so. Joe Biden became mentally impaired. Kamala was born that way. She was born that way. And if you think about it, only a mentally disabled person could have allowed this to happen to our country. Anybody would know this.
So again, I'm not here to comment on the overall topic of what he was talking about or to make a commentary on either of the presidential candidates. I am, however, here to talk about a couple of things that we can take away from the way and the context in which disability is handled in this speech. Chez Jeunesse, teammates, and guests, your keyword for this week in honor of my National Parks t-shirt is Zion. Number 1, disability is not something that someone who identifies as being non-disabled places onto another human, whether or not disability is present. Disclosure is the right of a person with a disability. They get to decide when and if they want to disclose a disability, how and when they want to talk about it. Obviously, this can change a little bit based on whether or not that disability is visible or invisible. People with visible disabilities don't get to have the same privacy or the same nuance to disclosure as someone with an invisible disability might. But as a general rule of thumb, disclosure is based on the person's independent right decision to decide when and if they want to talk about their disability, and no one gets to place disability onto another person, especially not in a public format. Number 2, disability should not be used culturally as an insult, which is what, based on the context and the tone that I'm seeing here in this video, it's used in a derogatory way. It's meant to indicate or be synonymous with stupidity or lack of knowledge or understanding or awareness. Using disability as a synonym for those is really insulting to disability and leads us into our primary bias that we're seeing here, which is the bias that a person with a disability is less capable than a person without a disability, which is a bias It is not true. Each person is unique. Each person's brain functions differently. Each person shows up in the world differently based on their life circumstances, their personality, there's so many different things that factor into the way that a person shows up into the world. But disability is not bad. It's not wrong. It does not mean that a person who is disabled is bad or has anything wrong with them. And it certainly doesn't mean that a disabled person is inferior or less capable than a non-disabled person in any way. Those are our takeaways from this. Again, to recap, disability should not be placed on anyone, especially in a public way. It should not be used as an insult or as a synonym with lack of knowledge or understanding. And lastly, the bias that we see present here is that a person with a disability would be less capable than a person without a disability, which again is not true. So that's it. That's your little internet corner for today. If you have questions or thoughts, again, if they are kind, if they are constructive, please drop them below. If there are other themes, biases, or statements that you feel like could be added to the ones that I just made, would love to hear those as well. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. Welcome to Chez Jeunesse, the place of new beginnings. My name is Catherine Hubert, and I founded and own a French-inspired cafe where, as a team, we are on a mission to change the way that our world understands neurodiversity and employs humans with disabilities. Our restaurant was born and is based in Greensboro, North Carolina, and that's where we practice and teach our mission and model. This is our channel where we dive in deep to who we are, what we do, and why we do it. Our hope is that this content is empowering to disabled and non-disabled humans alike, and that no matter what perspective you are coming from, employer, employee, parent, friend, or Chez Jeunesse fan, you feel welcomed, you learn something new, and you walk away with a deeper appreciation and understanding of humanity.